Education services for children ages 6 months to 12 years of age. We provide the highest quality child care available at an affordable cost. For more information, contact us at 304-901-2961.
Since opening in 2017, we have been the local hangout spot to watch a game and meet up with family and friends. With over 15 TVs, there isn't a bad seat in the house. We have arcade games, including the world's largest Pac-Man, 2 pool tables, and more, serving a full food menu ranging from appetizers to steak dinners, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week, and later on weekends. Daily drink and food specials, and of course, happy hour from 3 to 6, Monday through Friday. Come on out to Benchwarmer Sports Bar and Grill.
This is Jimmy, General Manager at Ameritech Tire and Auto, here to serve you with all your auto repair and service needs. We are a family-owned business serving our community since 2003. We work on all makes and models from vintage cars and trucks to collectors to today's latest, newest vehicles. So stop in and see us at one of our 2 locations. See you soon.
When your life depends on it, you don't cut corners. You go for top quality. But what about when your death depends on it? Same thing. That's why I've arranged my funeral plan with Rosedale. I pay a lump sum now or in installments, and the cost of the services for my plan are fixed forever, no matter how much prices go up. So when the day comes, I know I have helped my family with the cost of the funeral that I have chosen, and everything has been arranged by Rosedale.
Enclosures Unlimited is a family-owned and operated glass company that has been serving the Northern Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, and D.C. areas since 1962.
From the first call to the day your glass is installed, we promise fast, knowledgeable, and friendly service. We are always happy to answer all your questions and work with you to design a space that is beautiful and functional. When you choose to work with us, we will treat you as family.
We can provide an estimate via email or schedule a free in-home measurement and design consultation. Please contact us to get started on your new shower enclosure or glass project today.
All right, Chloe, well, congratulations on your new policies.
Thank you.
And just basically making sure all your information looks okay. I went ahead and emailed you proof of insurance as well as ID cards. And if you need me for any reason, just don't hesitate to reach out. You can give me a call or text me anytime, okay?
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you.
Get ready. Good evening and welcome to Jefferson High School. I'm J.D. Fritz, along with Drew Pitzer from Home Team Sports. Also join us, Bill Cawley from the Spirit of Jefferson, Luke Wiggs and Daniel Woods from WEPM Radio. We're excited here today to introduce new varsity head coach of the Jefferson Cougars, Kiel VanMetre. Kiel, thanks for joining us today. We'll be also joined shortly by Jefferson All-State point guard Jamari Jenkins. So get right started with you, Coach. What was the most intriguing thing that for you to get the opportunity here at Jefferson?
Ultimately, I've always wanted to be a head coach. From the time I was a player in high school till now, being a head coach in the Eastern Panhandle has been one of my dreams. So being able to get this opportunity when it came open, that's one of the things I couldn't pass up. Jefferson has a rich history of basketball, sports in general, and so being able to be a part of this is ultimately something that I've always wanted to do.
Thanks, Coach.
This is Drew Pitzer with Home Team Sports. Coach VanMetre, this is a tough question off the rip, but I want you to basically explain how you plan to measure successes beyond just the wins and losses.
For me, basketball is an important thing. Like, ultimately, I would love to go 25-0, whatever, and win the state championship. But if I can send kids to college, whether it's playing a sport, whether it's just to go get a degree, if we can make sure kids get good education, good jobs out of high school, and ultimately be good people. I want to look up and teach kids how to say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, shake somebody's hands properly, look them straight in the eye. So ultimately, I think the after-school success is what I want to measure. Of course, I want to win games, but I want to have a 100% graduation rate. I want to have kids that go and do something that they want to do after high school and are successful.
I like that. Thank you, Coach.
Coach, can you tell us a little bit about your background? Stops in the Eastern Panhandle, playing in Berkeley County, coaching here in Jefferson County. Can you talk all about the experience you've had in the Eastern Panhandle?
So I was fortunate enough to be able to coach with Coach Church at Hedgesville, and that was a great opportunity for me. I played there. I've been around him since I was essentially in 8th grade, so that was an awesome experience for me to be there. And then getting the opportunity to go to Washington with Coach Ryan Miller, who is one of my best friends, going to be the best man at my wedding. That's one of the things that was great. We were friends. We were able to do things that I thought was good for that school. And then being able to come here, it's just an awesome thing. It's an awesome experience. I think it's going to be good for the county that, him and I are both going to be coaching against each other for the rivalry. And, on the court, we might not like each other that night, but afterwards we're going to talk all night and hang out the next day. I think that's great for kids to see and things like that. So ultimately, I think being with those guys have prepared me for this moment and things like that.
Have you met with your players, and so how's it going so far?
So far, I've met with a couple of them just in passing when I've been in the school and things like that. Tonight, I got to see some of them while they were in the weight room working out and talk with them. Tonight's really going to be the first night I see everybody, but through the interactions I've had with everybody so far, it's been great. It's been nothing but positive energy between all of us. And so I'm excited to get started and really get to meet them and know them tonight and moving forward.
Stepping into a program for the 4th straight state tournaments, there's a floor that Coach Lewis is leaving behind. Basic ideas how you plan to build off of that and continue success.
So my goal is always to win a state championship. That would be ideal. What I would love to do, though, is take their basketball minds to the next level. I think Coach Lewis did a great job, and I don't know if I'm ever going to live up to that what he had. I don't want to put that burden on me. And then when you look back at Coach Starkey, Coach Lowry, that have all been here, there's been a rich history of coaches. I want to, kind of make my own mark, but also be able to follow in the path that they've done a really good job, and I want to continue that. My goal is to be the state tournament this year. My goal is to be the state tournament next year, 10 years from now. I don't want to ever not make it. I know that that's not going to always happen, but that's the goal I always want to set for myself in the program.
Coach, talk about what Kelly Church has meant to you and what he's done to help prepare you for this moment right now.
Coach Church has meant a lot to me. My parents are sitting in the stand out there right now, and they support me with everything. But Coach Church has been like a second father to me. I talk to him right now still at least once a week. I was at his house for birthdays. I stayed at his house when his kids were in school because we were the same age. He's meant a lot to me just outside of basketball. He's got me to say I love you to my parents every night before bed. And so without him, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
That's awesome. And I just wanted to add real quick, we're not joined by Jamari just yet. That's waiting on board approval, so we have to get that. I just want to go ahead and say that so we're in the clear with that. But
we're waiting on board approval.
On Kyle, I'm sorry. Okay, I apologize.
And Kyle, thank you again. Basically, I want to kind of pivot off my first question. How do you balance winning ball games and balancing maybe making sure you have player development as well?
That's probably one of the hardest things. At the end of the day, if I don't have them prepared to do the things I want them to do in games, we're not going to win the games. And so I think player development is a big part of it. And if that means that I have to take a freshman that is going to be good, but we got to bring him back a little bit to refine his skills, and that's what we do. And it might not be the best thing for us this year, but it might be the best thing for us over 4 years or however it may be. I think we are fortunate enough to have a lot of talented kids here, and so I think that's going to be something we don't have to work on as much. I also think having the right coaching staff around will help with that as well, and getting some guys that can really help focus on player development on one end while we're doing basketball on the other end and working on that stuff. But ultimately, if you don't have player development, it's going to be tough to win the basketball games going forward.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it. And we also want to take the time to introduce Jamari Jenkins, senior point guard for the Cougars.
Coach, stylistically, you talking about Kiel Church's brand of basketball, defense first, very deliberate in the half court, and what Coach Miller did at Washington last year, a little bit more up tempo, more willing to shoot the three. For you specifically, stylistically, what should we expect?
I think kind of a mix of both. I think coming here, if you've watched Jefferson over the past 4 years, you're going to see that they like to get up and guard. They want to speed the game up and things like that. I think discipline on defense is key. I want to keep the ball out of the lane, but I also want to use their speed and agility and length to really bother people on the defensive end. On the offensive end, I want to run and go because we have the guys to do that, but I also want to make sure if we don't have the first shot, it's okay to back it out, and there's no shot clock in West Virginia yet. So if it takes us 4 minutes, it takes us 4 minutes to get the best shot. Obviously, I don't know if I want to do that every possession, but I think it's good to have that. We're going to have an offense that's going to run through and have different plays, different sets out of it. And on the defensive end, we're going to use our agility, we're going to use our speed, but also try to keep the ball in the lane and make them take low percentage shots.
The city's overhauled the playoff system. There are no fourth sectionals. You go right to the regionals. Your thoughts on that?
I think it's a good thing for the area. Ultimately, it ended up being the sectional championship kind of didn't mean anything. You could lose that game and still go to state. So I think that makes games more meaningful. It also means that when we play Spring Mills, it actually means something. It used to be if we split with whoever in our section, it was fine. But now every game in the area means something. And so I think that's ultimately a good thing for the area. I think it can only go up because each time that they've made a change so far, it has been a decent change in my opinion. So I think we're only going to get to better abilities and better things to do for the players and the athletes.
Jamar, what was your first impressions of Coach VanMetre, and what was that conversation like when you had it?
The first conversation was just like how to get things started and like what we was going to do, like when the scheduling for like practices and flex days and like that. And my first impression was like a new start, you know what I'm saying? See how he goes into the season and see how his point of view is. That's all.
Good, thanks.
This is a question kind of for both of you guys, but what is your approach going to be like going into practice and stuff coming season? I mean, what are you going to do coming into this year to focus on improving?
For me, I want to make practice harder than games.
Right. I
want to make them really work in practice so when the game time comes, it becomes easy to them. I think if we can do that, we're going to be in a good spot for success. But I also want the kids to enjoy coming to basketball. I don't want to be the guy who's just down their throat yelling at them, being all on them. I want them to enjoy being there every day. Because if he doesn't enjoy coming to basketball, we might as well not play basketball. So I want to make sure they enjoy it. We have fun, but we're going to work really hard. And when you come out of that practice, you're going to be a little bit tired, you're going to be a little bit sore, but you're going to know you got better that day.
Right. And again, Jamar, how do you feel? What are you going to try to improve on the most coming into the season?
Competitiveness. I like to compete, and I like to get into things. No playing around, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's all.
I like that. Yeah. So competing.
Yeah, competing.
For sure. Thank you for your time.
Jamar, can you talk about playing center for the football team this year?
Right,
is that going to affect prepping for the basketball?
Nah, that ain't going to affect me on the court, not at all.
Have you learned anything, jumping back in with the Jefferson High football team?
Yeah, I learned a lot of things. Got to. It's a quick start. I got to learn.
Coach, for you, it seems like over the last handful of years with several coaches being really well entrenched in the EPAC, just about every program in the Panhandle has a defined identity of what they want to do. If you could just boil down what you want the identity of Jefferson basketball to be, even to a few words, what would that be?
The first thing I want it to be known as is good people. I want to leave the school and everybody's like, man, I love that Jefferson was at our school. They took care of things like that. On the basketball court side, I want to be the best defensive team in the area, even the state. That's my goal, is what I want to get to, because if we can guard, it makes it hard for the other team to score, and with the group that we have, we can score with people. So if we can guard and keep that ball from scoring, then I think we're going to be great. So I want to be known as the best defensive team in the area, if not the state.
Hey, Coach, stepping into the EPAC specifically, we talked about a who's who for high school boys basketball head coaches. Martinsburg, of course, with Kiel there, the Seal at Edgesville, or Musselman as well. I mean, how much does it mean to be a part of that fraternity? I mean, there's some really special names in the coaches' conference.
It's been a dream of mine for a while, and so when I look at it, to be able to look next to, Coach Church, who's been with me, Coach Miller, who's been a friend of mine, look at Coach Rogers, who has been there forever and done great things at Martinsburg, Coach Basile, who always has a team ready to play, and it might be the toughest place to go play in the EPAC. Coach Samples is doing great things right now at Spring Mills. Like, this is the hardest area to play in basketball, in my opinion, in the state. And so to be able to be a part of that, it means a lot to me. I'm an Eastern Panhandle guy, and I'm always going to be that way. So it means everything to me to be a part of that group.
Will you be running the same similar style offense as you learned under Coach Church?
Yes and no. I think at some point it becomes tough to find new offenses because there's only so many you can run in the world. With that, like, I'm a student of the game. I watch any type of basketball you can watch. My fiance gets annoyed at me. I have 2 TVs in our living room just so I can have basketball on one and we can watch whatever she wants on the other. And so if I can find something that works with these kids that isn't what Coach Church ran or Coach Miller ran, then by all means, that's what we're going to do. It's going to take a little trial and error because they don't know me, I don't know them. They also had some success with Coach Lewis, and I don't want to pull all that away. So I have some thoughts that we want to get him involved in a lot of ball screens. We can do some things there. But I also want to be able to use their athleticism and play downhill. And let's see what we can find there. And they've always been a great shooting team from the outside. So I don't want to take that away from them. So it's going to be a lot of when we get in the gym and see, we can kind of figure out what works best for them.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, I know this is another interesting question, but what is going to be your approach to managing like playing time and substitutions?
I think it's tough to answer right now in the sense because we may look up and there's 12 kids that get to play, so we might do a platoon swap like West Liberty. We also could look up and 5 kids deserve to play, and we got to be the most conditioned team in the world. So I think it's going to be tough there. I'm going to hopefully look at my staff some, and we can come up with the right ideas for that to do it because ultimately you can't make everybody happy, but you also got to play the best players that are available. And if that's all 15, then we're going to find a way to play all 15 kids. If that's 5, then we're going to find a way to play 5 kids.
Jamari, can you talk to me a little bit about leadership? You had a couple of seniors off last year. Steve Aiden graduates. You're no Shivers on the roster anymore, and obviously down to a new head coach. I'm sure that there's a lot of personal responsibility for you to step up and be a leader going into the season, right?
It kind of already was a little bit. Yeah, it kind of already was. So it really ain't nothing new for real. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not nothing new.
Coach, outside of Coach Church, are there any coaches in terms of play style or in terms of title or running program you consider?
So I love watching Coach Izzo at Michigan State. Anytime I get a chance to watch him, I have that at one, even if it's a rerun, whatever. I love watching him. Tony Bennett's also one I like watching. He's a close coach that was here, and you can always have his games on. And I was a big fan of Eli when he was at WVU and then when he went to Michigan. So I would say those 3 coaches are 3 coaches that I watch a lot and that I try to get stuff from as much as I can, just because I think they run 3 different styles of things, so you can always find something there that you like that you can incorporate and things like that.
Coach, with a lot of seniors graduating this past year, what will be your expectation for the team in the first year as head coach?
So my expectations on myself is always a state tournament. With that, I want to see success, and I want to see growth. So that might mean winning a state championship. That also might mean Jamari becomes better at something that he's not good at, that right now we're not as great at, and we can work on it. I think success, you can't break it down to wins and losses for a program at that point because we could play the hardest schedule in America, and we're playing the Boston Celtics 3 nights. Well, we're not supposed to win that game. In my head, I want to win that game. We're going to prepare like we should. But I think it ultimately comes down to, did each player get better as a basketball player and as a person? And so I like to put a number on it. Becomes tough because if we don't reach that number, we in a sense failed. But what if we really grew as a program, grew as a team, then we didn't fail our ultimate goal? And so I just think it becomes down to, can they get better as people and better as basketball players moving forward?
Thanks, Coach. And speaking of preparation, Coach VanMetre, how do you prepare for games against teams that are obviously going to be stronger, more experienced than you are?
It's going to come down to scouting. It's going to come down to a 1-2 from the kids. And I think knowing some of these kids, playing against them for 3-4 years now, I think they had the 1-2. And I think they had the grit that, like, hey, we're going to have to put in some work. In the little bit I've talked to Jamari, hey, I'm playing football, but I'm all in on basketball as well. And we're going to put in work. We're going to make it figured out. And so it's going to take some nights, some maybe longer nights in the gym, and maybe me having some sleepless nights at times, but we're going to make it work. And, I think they had the buy-in that we're going to be okay. We're going to be able to compete against those teams.
Coach, I don't know what year you graduated high school, but I'm sure high school basketball is a little bit different from when you played. One-time transfer rule, there's 4 classifications down in Charleston. Social media is a big deal, summer ball is a big deal. Obviously, you've been coaching these last couple of years as a head coach. Are there some more modern challenges that you're going to have to accommodate for that you didn't have to even think about when playing?
Yes and no. I mean, I think as the game's been going, like when I was at Hedgesville, I was a big player person. Like Coach Church would get on a player at time, and then they would come to me, and I would talk to them and like build that relationship. At Washington, I became more of that guy that kind of got on with the players, and we went someplace there. But I think like social media becomes big. Anytime that I can get our guys' names out here, because people don't like to look at the Eastern Panhandle sometimes as a West Virginia area, and so anytime I can get on there and do that, anytime that we can do things to better them. I think the one big thing for me right now is going to be the transfer rule, because I want to make sure I keep our guys here. I don't want to lose them. So building that relationship with each and every player, that way they want to be at Jefferson, they want to be a part of what we're building. I think that's my ultimate goal with that one.
We'll go back to Jamari. Jamari, you've been in the same system now for 3 years. How do you think you're going to be able to adjust learning a new system under
obviously, I think it's gonna be a little bit, sketchy at first, but at the end of the day, like you gotta learn to be successful in life. So you gotta learn the court, you gotta learn his type of way, his coaching style, and like you gotta be like cooperative at the start. So you gotta be bonded together, make the thing work this season.
Coach, one thing about Hedgesville, especially down Washington, those two spots you've been at, they've always had a culture for winning, a culture for success. How are you going to motivate your players during a tough time of losing streak, not to lose the culture that you're trying to build?
I think ultimately it becomes to team bonding things. Like, we're going to go through patches, and everything in life isn't going to be perfect. We might lose 3 straight games. Good news is the sun's going to come up and we get to play again tomorrow or whenever that game is. Ultimately, I want them to realize basketball is not the most important thing in your life. You don't know what the person next to you is going through. So I really want to make it where we have a brotherhood here where, like, if Jamari's down, this person picks him up and we're really working there because you don't know what's going on in people's lives that are way bigger than basketball. And so if I can get them to realize that it's not the end of the world that we lost 3 games, what matters is what do we do in March. And ultimately, if we can have success in March, then we're going to be okay. And so getting to that point, I think, is going to be big to also have them buy into that.
Yeah, definitely March is huge.
Yeah, I got another. Let's go to, do you foresee any change? I know you touched about some different things, his role, whatever. Do you foresee any changes in Jamari's role, or basically you think most of it will stay the same for him?
Yes. I mean, Jamari's a great player. I mean, I've watched him play since he was in 6th, 7th grade, starting at Wildwood and coming here. Scouting against him has been awful for me at times when I've had to do it. And so, I want to keep the ball in his hands a lot, but there's also a lot of guys standing over here that they can play. And so I want to make sure we're utilizing that and using everybody's skill. And if that means some nights, hey, Jamari, you're off the ball because we got to get him the ball in his hands. So I think Jamari is going to be okay with that role because I think ultimately Jamari wants to win. And I think that's going to be good for everybody. Whatever's going to help the team win is there. But, I mean, everybody has seen Jamari play. We know Jamari's a good basketball player. And so, but what is somebody going to do to take him away? So we've got to prepare everybody else for that. Some nights Jamari might just be a screener all the time. If that helps us win the game, then that's what we need to do.
So, this is my final question for you. So I got one more. How will you motivate your team? How are you going to be a good guy? Are you going to be the bad guy? What is your identity?
I think it could change each night. And I don't need to come in and yell at them. If you're not excited to play a basketball game, then I don't know why you're playing basketball. It's my ultimate thing. I wake up excited. I wake up, ready to go. I go into every game nervous. That's just who I am. And you don't have to be the same guy as me, but I don't need to come in and yell at you. If he's not ready to play, then just tell me, hey, I'm not ready to play today, and that's fine. Next man up. If it involves me kind of getting on them, yelling at them, then that's what it takes. But ultimately, I want them to be excited to play the game. If you're excited to play the game, then you're always going to be ready for that opportunity.
Look at the bigger picture of players. You mentioned Washington, even at Wildwood. Do you have intentions to develop relationships with your feeder programs and those coaches and have an understanding of what the expectations are when those guys do get to Jefferson High?
My goal is to be at as many middle school basketball games as I can. I think it's important to have that. When I started out, my dad was the head coach of Hedgesville Middle, and I helped him do things, and that became big for Hedgesville. That was the year that Jackson Ruiz, Christian Bolduc, all them, they came in as 6th graders when we started there. And so for us to be able to build that through, and then they get to high school and they already have that system, I think it's awesome. And you could kind of see it by their senior year. We had the success at Hedgesville that we were able to get to the state tournament. And so I think that's a big thing for us to do, is make the relationships over there, start seeing kids early and let's let them know, hey, we're here to support you if you need anything. Even though you're not at the school yet, I'm more than willing to help you.
You have any more questions? I do actually one more for Mari. What is your goals for not only just this season, but going into your collegiate career? Obviously, your brother Khalil had a pretty good run at a D1 player, played March Madness. What are your overall goals for not just this level, but the next?
I want to go to college and play basketball, obviously, and then after that, I mean, whatever it takes me, takes me. I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna do after, for real. Like, I don't know if I'm going business or like keep playing. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Any further questions?
Well, guys, that's it for our show. Concludes our show. I'd like to thank Coach VanMetre and Jamari Jenkins for joining us today. I'm J.D. Fritz and Drew Pitzer. I'd like to also thank the guys from WEPM, Daniel Woods and Luke Wiggs, along with Bill Cully from the Spirit of Jefferson. Also, I'd like to thank AD here at Jefferson High School, David Vines, for enabling us to be here. And again, thanks a lot, guys, and you guys have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Neon Moon Tavern is under new ownership, so if you're looking for a place to go to enjoy live music, the area's top DJs and great food, all in a fun and safe environment, then we are the place for you. Our friendly bartenders and fantastic kitchen staff will take great care of you. Find us at 4529 Shepherdstown Road, Martinsburg, West Virginia, or give us a call at 304-260-4002.
Helping families is my passion. It's what I love to do. Hi, I'm Cheryl Yates with ERA Liberty Realty. I've established a reputation for making your journey simple regardless of your price point. They say it takes a village, so I work closely with other professionals in the industry to make your experience a smooth one from start to finish.
We're so happy that we chose Cheryl Yates with ERA Liberty Realty to help us on our buying and selling process. If you would like a 5-star experience from top to bottom, choose Cheryl Yates.
As an Eastern Panhandle native, I possess an insight and knowledge of the area that is essential to reaching your goals. Whatever your real estate needs may be, remember me. I'm the key to buying or selling your home.
Smith Native Bush Insurance has served the Eastern Panhandle since 1869, a family-owned business with locations in Martinsburg on South Queen Street and Charlestown on South George Street. We are able to serve all your insurance needs. Being an independent agency, if we can't do it, nobody can. Call us today for affordable insurance.
Finishing up here with Coach VanMetre's press conference. We got a lot of information from Coach, also from Jamari Jenkins. Just wanted to also let you guys know that you guys can tune in Friday night, August 30th, this Friday. Jefferson versus Spring Mills. We'll be broadcasting live from Spring Mills High School. So make sure you guys catch that. Should be a great game to start this EPAC kickoff season. So again, it's this Friday, guys, August 30th, 7 p.m. at Spring Mills High School. I'm also joined by my man, Drew Pitzer.
You don't want to miss it, man. I'm trying to tell you, you want to be there.
Should be a great game, guys. We enjoyed all the press conferences, all the questions. It was great. Hopefully you guys tune in to Home Team Sports TV this Friday. Again, Jefferson versus Spring Mills. You don't want to miss that. And that's all I got, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight if you guys are watching at home, and we'll see you next time.
See you Friday.